the last episode of the Main Street Chronicles, Brian and Stokes boarded Jock Lindsay's seaplane for a trip to the Amazon. Upon their arrival, they were greeted by Alberta Falls, proprietor of the Jungle Navigation Company and granddaughter of the famous explorer Dr. Albert Falls. Following a brief conversation with Alberta, our adventurers found themselves in a secret sea meeting room in the back of the Skipper Canteen. It was here where they learned of the disappearance of Dr. Falls and another member of the society, Captain Mary Oceaneer, who was lost at sea after being caught in a hurricane. Our adventurers then took to the sky to search the Caribbean in hopes of finding Oceaneer. They spotted the wreckage of Oceaneer's ship along the shores of Typhoon Lagoon, where they found her and learned of her past and her role within sea. After helping Oceaneer and her parrot Duncan locate some of the treasure lost in the shipwreck, our adventurers noticed that the coin had once again changed to include a symbol that simply read MP. Join our adventurers as they continue exploring the mystery of the changing coin. Welcome back to Episode 3, Yin and Yang. We pick up with our adventurers flying back to the Amazon rainforest and the Jungle Navigation Company to try to figure out what this coin is leading them to next. Join our fearless adventurers as they chart a course around the world to uncover the mysteries of sea.
You boys be quick. I don't have all day. I'll fill up and get some provisions for the next leg of our journey.
Stokes, do you remember exactly where you saw that symbol?
As a matter of fact, I do. Lord Henry Mystic wrote a few books that had that symbol on it. A Manor of Fact and Treasures from the Manor.
How in the world did you remember that?
Oh, didn't you know? I have a photographic memory. Let me tell you about...
Hang on. Where is everybody? The last time we were here, it was bursting at the seams with skippers.
It looks like the jungle navigation business has picked up since we left. The boats are gone, so they must all be out running cruises along the river.
I wonder if Alberta went off on the next adventure she was talking about.
Alberta comes rushing in.
Oh, so sorry. I thought you were potential paying customers. Any luck finding Mary?
We sure did. Her ship was washed up on the shores of Typhoon Lagoon, and she's starting tours of the island to help her and Duncan find her lost cargo so that she can get it to the promised museums.
Oh, this is wonderful news. Thank you for locating her. Why are you back?
Well, no surprise to you, but the coin changed again. It now has the letters MP on it.
Oh, interesting.
I think I remember the symbol from a couple of the books in the library. Do you mind if we take another look around?
I'd love to help, but I need to take care of the paying guests. Please, feel free to take a look around. Also, don't hesitate to come back any time to use the JNC as your home base. Oh, hello, and welcome back to the JNC. How was your adventure?
Let's hurry up and go find out what MP stands for. Hey, the door is shut. What book opens the door again?
Here, let me. Both books should be over here somewhere. Tiki Tiki Tikis of the South Pacific. Bathing with Elephants. Weird. The Fountain of Youth. There is no such thing. Treasures from the Manor. Here we go. Any luck finding a Manor of Fact?
Primates of the Caribbean? Another New Year? Illustrated Guide to Radio Broadcasting. Who needs that? Oh, here it is. A Manor of Fact.
Great. Let's take a look. Hey, right here on the author's page, it mentions that Lord Henry Mystic has recently opened up his house as a museum in an area he's calling Mystic Point, but it doesn't say where it's located. Check in your book and see if it has anything in there.
Let's see. I'm not seeing anything about its location.
Hey, what's taking you boys so long?
We're trying to figure out where Mystic Point is. We know what the area is called, but we don't know where it is.
Do you not know anything? Mystic Point has been all over the news lately since the museum opened. It's in New Guinea. Boy, this is going to be a long flight. I'm not sure I have enough supplies. Oh well, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work?
Come on, boys, Reggie's waiting for us.
Ugh, that snake. Hey, Jock, that looks like the compound from the pictures in the book. Let's put her down and check it out.
Our adventurers land and pull up to a dock that is extremely ornate. If this isn't Mystic Point, then who knows where they may be.
Wow. Whoa, this is some place. Can't even imagine what we're about to walk into.
Welcome to Mystic Point, the opulent home of Lord Henry Mystic and his collection of artifacts and treasures from around the world. Are you here for the tour? Of course you are. Follow me, we're about to begin.
Looks like you boys are doing this on your own. I'm gonna go take Reggie to the gardens and let him stretch his legs a bit.
And we're walking. Built in the early 1890s, this Victorian-style manor was designed by Lord Henry Mystic out of his desire to stake a claim in the uncharted jungle wilderness of New Guinea. Those with a cultured eye may notice the entire mansion does not follow traditional Victorian trends. Being the brilliant mind that he is, Lord Mystic could not help but include a diverse architectural blend that highlights all that he has seen during his world travels.
Seems a little bit over the top.
Shh! As we make our way into the atrium, you will notice many pictures on the wall that were taken of Lord Mystic and some of his closest friends during their greatest adventures. A personal favorite of mine is this one here of Lord Mystic and his pet monkey Albert investigating a sarcophagus in Egypt. Ooh! As we continue on, you will see in the display case many of the great artifacts that were brought back from their journeys. All of these pieces hold great
Hey,
cultural
Brian,
significance to the
you see that
area in
portrait
which
over
they
there?
were.
Isn't that Mary Ocean here?
And we're still walking.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, we know we're in the right place. How do you think we can get a chance to speak to Mystic?
I said we're walking, not talking. And here we are, making our way into the new acquisitions and cataloging headquarters. And wow! Folks, we are lucky today. It looks like Lord Mystic's newest edition is down here and ready to be put on display. I know it looks like an old music box to all of you, but this here is nothing ordinary. It is said that this is an enchanted music box, and it is to be handled with absolute care, because if it is open, it has the power to bring inanimate objects to life. Woo! But of course, that is just all superstition. Over
Hey,
here we have
look,
Lord...
over there, by that Chinese dragon sculpture. Isn't that the monkey from the pictures in the last room?
Yeah, I think it is. I wonder what he's doing.
Hey, in the back, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer, cut the chit-chat. We have a tour going on.
What do you say we just bail and follow the monkey? He might give us a better lead than this guy.
Let's do it.
Brian and Stokes find a moment when the tour guide isn't looking, and they lock eyes with the mischievous monkey. It's almost as if he is suggesting that they follow him. Our adventurers, who have never been ones to turn down an opportunity to learn or to get into a little trouble, gladly follow him down a long, dark corridor, barely lit by Edison bulbs. At the end of the corridor, it looks as if there is nowhere to turn until Albert pushes on one of the panels, allowing it to move just enough to reveal a hidden passage.
Hello? Is somebody there? Oh, Albert, it's just you. I hope you have stayed away from that music box like I told you. Oh, and who did you bring with you?
Brian and Stokes?
Well, 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 Albert, it seems as though a couple of our guests have gotten lost. What brings you two so far away from the rest of the group?
Well, we were actually hoping to find you. You are Lord Mystic, right?
Why, yes. Yes, I am. May I ask why you were looking for me?
Well, Jock Lindsay got us started on this journey, and now we're traveling the world looking for members of C, trying to understand its importance in the world today.
What exactly do you gentlemen know about C?
Well, Meriwether Pleasure taught us the value of fellowship and surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Now if only we could still experience the Adventurers Club.
Oh, the fun times we had.
We learned from Alberta Falls, and in a sense through her grandfather, the sense of adventure and to always stay curious because you never know what may come next.
An adventurer's life is best.
And Captain Oceaneer taught us that we need to preserve the past in order to educate the future. And without the past, we'd be lost to repeat the cycle.
Oh, Mary, always using her dedication to adventure to teach others about the art of exploration.
Now that brings us to you. Would you be willing to share your story with us?
Gents, I would love to.
Before we explore your story, I'd love to know how you acquired a monkey.
Oh, Albert? It is really quite a story of fate. It actually all happened right here in New Guinea. I was traversing in the jungles on one of my expeditions when I heard a distant cry of an animal in distress. Even though I was close to finishing up my mission, I could not ignore the cries for help. I made my way through the dense foliage of the jungle, and then I saw it. Poor Albert here had managed to get himself stuck in the web of a giant spider. I managed to save him from that nightmare, and we have been best friends ever since. That's right, Albert.
So, what is your involvement with C?
My involvement? Well, let's see here. I have long been a lover of the spirit of adventure and how it can help blend the cultures of the world. so that we can all have a better appreciation of our differences. Hopefully, in a little time, we can realize that we are more alike than we are different. I have dedicated the majority of my life to going on expeditions all over the world in an effort to collect artifacts and antiquities to promote the preservation of all of these diverse cultures. That is why I decided to open up my home here at Mystic Point as a museum to help showcase and educate any and all who want to visit.
Wow, that is incredible. You really seem to personify all that is good about sea and its members.
Well, it seems you have only seen the good side of sea. I should probably share with you the side that isn't as shiny and bright.
Finally, everyone keeps hinting at something dark in regards to sea, but no one wanted to talk about it.
Well, lads, I am personally involved, and I have no problem talking about it. So far, you gentlemen have had the pleasure of meeting some of the finest members that sea has to offer. All of these great adventurers play a large role in obtaining artifacts and antiquities from all over the world for the purpose of preservation and education. However, there are some members that have given in to greed and personal glory. None more than Harrison Hightower.
This guy sounds like a real piece of work.
Hightower was a great explorer and collector of rare cultural antiquities. He traveled across every continent, gathering artifacts for his own personal collection. Once he laid eyes on an item that he desired, he would use any means necessary to obtain it, even theft.
He has to be stopped.
Oh, I'm getting to that part. Notice, if you will, I've only been using past tense when speaking of him. On one particularly dangerous expedition in Africa, Hightower and his crew were heading up the Congo River when they were chased by natives into the territory of the Matundu tribe. The Matundus are known for their hostility and are greatly feared by many of their neighbors. However, for some strange reason, they welcomed Hightower with open arms. During this time with the Matundus, Hightower learned of the Shiriki Atundu. The Shiriki Atundu was the protective idol of the Matundu tribe. Hightower tried to bargain with the chief to let him purchase the idol, but he refused. This, of course, only fueled Hightower's greed. One night, Hightower grabbed the idol, and he and his crew fled from the Matundu tribe.
Did the tribe capture him? Is that why you say he's already been stopped?
Actually, they did not even attempt to go after Hightower and his men. Strangely, they just stood by and watched as Hightower got away with the idol. There are some reports that say the Matundu chief may have even had a smile on his face. It is almost as if he knew what was to come.
So, he managed to get away with the idol.
He did. He brought it back to his hotel in New York City to add to his personal collection. I am afraid that is all I can tell you, gentlemen.
You don't know what happened from there?
Oh, I have heard accounts, but you may want to take a look at your pocket.
Whoa! What's going on? Why is my pocket glowing green?
It's the coin. See if it's changing.
It now has this symbol with the letters HH on it.
Ah, yes. That is referring to Hotel Hightower in New York City. There may be somebody else there that can help you gentlemen out.
Great. Let's find Jock and get out of here. Thank you, Lord Mystic, for all of your help. You're a true inspiration.
The pleasure is all mine, gentlemen. Albert will show you the way out.
Our adventurers follow Albert the monkey back through the corridor, where the monkey once again pushes a panel to reveal an opening back to the new acquisitions and cataloging room.
Bye, Albert.
This brings us to the end of our museum tour.
Hey, how did we manage to meet back up with this guy?
I hope you all enjoyed this glimpse into Lord Mystic's adventures and all of the diverse cultures of the world. This is where we part ways. You may find your exit either back through the atrium to the front of the museum or through the door to your right into the gardens. Remember, I barely get paid on minimum wage, which is hardly enough to afford a yurt here in New Guinea, so tips are expected. Accepted.
Did you hear that? This way leads to the gardens. That's where Jock was going to be hanging out. Let's go.
Jock, we have to go to New York City. Back to the plane. Let's go. Leave Reggie, though.
Oh, geez. Here we go again.
Our adventurers, Reggie included, board the seaplane and set out for Hightower Hotel in New York City. As our adventurers descend from the clouds above, they begin to see the shoreline appear on the horizon. Jock slowly brings the plane closer to the water. This may be a tricky landing. It is the busiest place he has tried to land in a long time. Planes and boats are coming and going from all directions. Jock must keep his cool as he brings her in for a safe landing.
Welcome home. Well, Welcome home for me anyways.
Well, we know where we're going. Let's go find Hightower.
Ha! Yeah, good luck finding that guy.
What do you mean?
You'll see.
All right, well, let's head over that way.
Our adventurers have traded one jungle for another as they try to navigate the streets of New York City. Soon they find themselves approaching a massive hotel.
Hotel Hightower, this is it.
It looks pretty run down. I wonder how we're gonna get inside.
Hey, you two, get out of here. You don't want any business going in there. Trust me.
But we have to speak to Harrison Hightower.
Ha! Well, he's gone.
When will he be back?
No, not gone like that. Gone like gone. Besides, you wouldn't want to be around this guy anyway. He's bad news.
Yeah, Hightower's a scoundrel. The mustache alone gives that away. He's a rake, a rogue, a rapscallion.
Whoa, rapscallion may be a bit far there.
Sorry, I got carried away.
No worries. Sounds like we're on the same page when it comes to Hightower's character. So why exactly are you guys wanting to talk to him?
We were hoping to learn a little more about his story. So far, we know he was a member of C, but had some questionable ethics when it came to how he obtained his artifacts.
C, huh? Listen, fellas, I know a little when it comes to C, but I'm not a member or anything.
That's fine. We just need to know what happened here.
Alright, well that I can help you with. New Year's Eve, 1899. Hightower had just returned from Africa and had called a press event here at the hotel to show off his latest prize, the Shariki Atundu. I was lucky, if that's the word, to be in attendance. You see, the name's Manfred String. I'm a reporter with the New York Globe-Telegraph, and Hightower wanted as many news outlets there as he could get. Hightower, being his usual arrogant self, started off the evening by retelling his heroics of recovering the idol. Of course, he was leaving little opportunity for actual questions from the press, so I finally just spoke up and asked him about the supposed curse that surrounds the idol. Well, he didn't take too kindly to that, and had me thrown out of the hotel.
So how do you know what happened from there?
Well, I managed to work my way back in because a reporter never quits a story. I disguised myself as a waiter, and I was able to sneak all the way to the party that was being thrown after the press conference, which is where things took a strange turn. The party was spectacular, and everybody was having a blast, and of course, I was there following Hightower's every move. As midnight was drawing closer, Hightower decided to take the idol back to his penthouse apartment at the top of the hotel. As he was boarding the elevator, I heard one of his closest companions, Mr. Smelding is his name, warn him to give proper respect to the idol. Hightower laughed it off as the elevator door closed. As the clock struck midnight, all the lights in the hotel went out, sending the party into a complete panic. I could hear a faint sound of Hightower screaming. Smelding and I went to investigate, but Hightower was nowhere to be found. All that was recovered outside of the shattered elevator was the idol and a fez belonging to Hightower.
Whoa, that is bizarre.
You want to hear bizarre? There were reports given all across the city that at exactly midnight, there was a bright green light that could be seen radiating out of the top of the hotel.
So his disappearance is clearly connected to that idol.
That must be why the chief of the tribe he stole it from just smiled as he took it. He knew what was going to happen.
So if the tower had a green light coming from it at midnight, that must be why the coin was glowing green when it changed.
Well, that's really all I have for you boys. Wait, what coin? Hey, I know I may be a little paranoid after what I experienced here, but is your pocket glowing?
Whoa, the coin is glowing gold now.
And the symbol now says BTM. What could it mean?
Well, I actually recognize that symbol. It belongs to the Big Thunder Mining Company.
Can you tell us anything about it?
All I know is that you can find Mr. Bullion sitting on his fortune somewhere in Monument Valley.
Well, looks like we know where we're going next.
Our adventurers say their thank yous and goodbyes to Mr. String and begin their trek back through the concrete jungle toward the harbor to tell Jock where they will be heading next.
Hey fellas, hope you found what you were looking for.
We sure did. It looks like we need to head to Monument Valley. Is the plane ready to go?
You really think I can land this thing in the middle of the desert? Sorry boys, I'm sitting this one out.
Then how are we supposed to get there?
Here you go. 2 cross-country train tickets. I had a feeling of where you might be going, so I took the liberty of purchasing them for you.
Wait, what?
No time to explain. You're gonna miss your train. See your boy sooner rather than later.
Brian and Stokes rush to the train station just in time to board their train before it leaves the station.
Hey, what do you think Jock meant by see you sooner rather than later?
Our adventure continues to revolve around this single magical coin. Join our adventurers on social media as they begin to uncover the mystery behind this new coin.
In this episode, our adventurers learned about two very different members of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. First, they were introduced to Lord Henry Mystic, who represents all that is good about the Society, and has opened up his home as a museum to help educate his guests about the cultures of the world. Then our adventurers were told of Harrison Hightower III, another great explorer. However, his motivation stems from greed rather than preservation. Now join us as we take a closer look at the attractions that help tell their stories in the Disney parks: Mystic Manor in Hong Kong Disneyland and Tower of Terror in Tokyo Disney Sea.
Mystic Manor opened on May 17, 2013 at Hong Kong Disneyland. The attraction utilizes a trackless ride system and introduces guests to the character of Lord Henry Mystic. The attraction is a haunted house-themed ride similar to the various versions of the Haunted Mansion around the world. However, Mystic Manor takes a more fantasy-based approach due to the cultural differences. Because of this, there are no actual references to spirits or the afterlife. Guests enter the fictional land of Mystic Point and are immediately met by the impressive manor itself. Following the sea storyline, the building was designed to represent a Victorian manor that features various architectural styles from cultures that Lord Mystic would have visited from around the world. Mystic chose the spot to build his manor while on expedition through the jungle wilderness of New Guinea. And in the attraction, he has just opened up his home as a museum to all who want to visit. Once guests enter into the queue, they are instantly immersed into the sea story. All along the walls are portraits of members of the Society and pictures of Lord Mystic in action during some of his most famous expeditions from across the world. One of the more popular pictures depicts Lord Mystic's pet monkey, Albert, stuck in a giant spider web in the jungle. This refers to the story of how the two met. Lord Mystic actually saved Albert from the spider, and they have been best friends ever since. As guests continue through the queue, they encounter several different display cases. These contain many of the actual artifacts that are featured in the pictures of Lord Mystic and Albert's adventures. Once inside the pre-show presentation room, guests are greeted by Lord Mystic himself as he tells of his latest acquisition, an enchanted music box that is said to have the power to bring inanimate objects to life when it is opened. During the presentation, Albert makes an appearance, and it becomes obvious that he is quite mischievous and cannot wait to get his hands on the music box. After the presentation is over, Mystic invites guests to continue on to the acquisitions and cataloging room. Guests board the ride vehicle and make their way into the acquisitions and cataloging room, where the enchanted music box is ready to be put on display. Lord Mystic makes another appearance and gives one final warning to Albert about touching the music box. Once Mystic exits the room, Albert cannot help himself and opens the music box, causing everything on the tour to come to life. Guests travel from room to room. Again, each room is themed to a different culture that Mystic has visited, as Albert tries to deal with the chaos of the music box.
Tower of Terror opened on September 22, 2006 in the American waterfront section of Tokyo Disney Sea. Even though it bears the same name and ride system as the other Tower of Terror attractions in Disney parks across the world, Tokyo Disney Sea's version does not follow the Twilight Zone theme, since audiences in Tokyo would not be familiar with the show. Instead, it continues the park's strong ties to the Society of Explorers and Adventurers and highlights the story of Harrison Hightower III. As guests enter into Waterfront Park, they can see the tower rising up over all of the other attractions. Appropriately named Hotel Hightower, guests are immediately drawn into the story as they approach the building. Just outside of the attraction entrance, there are numerous newspaper clippings setting the stage for what is to come. The stories from the newspaper highlight the opening of his hotel, his trip to Africa, and finally his mysterious disappearance on New Year's Eve 1899. As our adventurers learn from Manfred Strang, who is featured as the author of several of the newspaper clippings outside of the attraction, Harrison Hightower held a press conference and New Year's Eve party to celebrate his return from Africa with the Shiriki Utundu idol. However, Hightower did not show the idol the proper respect, and as he boarded the hotel's main elevator to his penthouse apartment, at the top he mysteriously vanished, leaving the idol behind. This sets up the story for the attraction. Now 13 years after his disappearance, the New York Preservation Society is offering up tours of the hotel to guests. Guests enter the queue in the hotel's lobby, and here they will see many portraits of Hightower on his exploits, as well as some artifacts that he collected throughout the years. As guests make their way through the queue, they will also pass by the destroyed elevator where Hightower vanished. Once in the pre-show room, there is a stained glass portrait of Hightower in front of his hotel, and the Shiriki Otundu idol is sitting on a pedestal next to the portrait. A recording of Hightower's final press conference is played to set the stage. Next, the lights go out, and the portrait animates to show the events of the night of the disappearance. Suddenly, the Shiriki Otundu idol also comes to life with an evil laugh as it glows green. After the pre-show, guests enter one last section of the queue, which shows off more of Hightower's treasures, including a giant pharaoh statue, mummies, and various other idols. The New York Preservation Society tour ends with a ride on the service elevator to the top of the hotel. The ride experience itself is similar to other versions of the Tower of Terror across the world, except guests are drawn into the story of Hightower and are harassed by the Shiriki Otundu idol throughout the drop sequence. Walt Disney Imagineering really plussed up two classic attractions in regards to the Haunted Mansion and the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror for expansions of Hong Kong and Tokyo Disneyland. These new takes on old gems are great examples of what Imagineers do best. We can only hope that Walt Disney Imagineering continues to expand the Sea universe in new and potentially existing attractions in the future.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 3. We hope that you join us next month as we get caught in Sea's gold rush.
Tungaloosh!
You've been listening to the Main Street Chronicles, part of the Imagination Radio Network and a BRS production. Dude, focus, dude. Oh, they live! Be sure to like, share, comment, rate, and subscribe to the Main Street Chronicles. Me, Offspring, and Jolly Man listen while we ride the EAC.